Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going over what we did for Cycle 3, Week 11, New Grammar. We just did it today, so it's fresh in my mind. I try to share with you how things went in the class so you can gauge how it will go in your class as well. My name's Emily, and if you like my content, go ahead and subscribe and give me a thumbs up so I know that this is helpful to you and this can get out to people who will also find it helpful. So we're going to get right into it. First we started with geography. So I have a map here that I marked up a little bit differently than I did the ones in class. I used 4 different colors on the ones in class. And of course I did the green mountains in green for the one in class. So when the kids sat down, their maps were already marked up and we went over the Northern Appalachian Mountains. We pointed to the locations and said them 3 times. I marked up the maps ahead of time just because these Allegheny Mountains aren't super clear. It would have been hard for me to point out to 8 different kids in the class where exactly they were. So the easiest way was to have them marked up first. So we said them each 3 times. So today we started off with tell me instead of show me. So everyone got a Q-tip to use to erase the locations. So I would say, tell me the mountains that are green, and they would say the green mountains, and then they could erase it, and so on. So after we did that, then they got out their markers and I asked them to show me by marking up the different mountain ranges as I said the names. Then as they were erasing those locations, I taught them this song, which I got from here on YouTube. I will link the video that I got it from for you to see in the description. It's to the tune of She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain, and it goes like this. Northern Appalachian Mountains, white mountains, green mountains, Adirondack Mountains, Allegheny Mountains, Northern Appalachian Mountains. So it's good to sing that song while the parents helped collect up the maps and markers and everything. It was a nice transition into the next subject. Next we did English. So first I had the kids repeat the words after me 2 or 3 times, and I pointed out how many times the word set was in this week's memory work. And then we sang it to the tune of the Mexican hat dance, and I had the kids go in the back of the room. They all stood in a circle and had their arms crossed like this and kicked their feet out like this in front of them as they were singing. We crossed arms because holding hands, they were pulling each other down and getting really into it. And we didn't have time for this, but you can also have the kids pair up and link arms and go around in a circle, just 2 kids at a time. We also didn't have enough space for that, really. So this is how it goes to the tune of the Mexican hat dance. It's not the very beginning of the song, but it's part of the way in. To set, set, sets, set, setting, set, to set, set, sets, set, setting, set. Next we did science. I had this printable from the Scribblers section on CC connected under the Learning Center up on the board so the kids could see glands and organs, because for the hand motions we pointed to our glands and organs and pointing to my abdomen. So we did hand motions and a song. So first I'll show you the hand motions that we did. For endocrine we did a E, and system we took the E around in a circle. Endocrine, system, glands and organs, pointing to our glands, and our abdomen for organs. For hormones, we did an ASLH, and we did it with both fingers. So hormones. To send messages, we pointed to everybody in the class, and some of the kids were really getting into that, and that was fun. And then through the bloodstream, we took our hands down our arms like this because you can see, well, I guess depending on how light your skin is, you can see your bloodstream right there in your arms. And then the rest of the body, we got silly with it. We put our hands up like this and raised one leg and then the other, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, so next we put it to the tune of You Are My Sunshine, which goes like this. The endocrine system consists of glands and organs that use hormones to send messages through the bloodstream to the rest of the body. I'd wished I had like a quicker pace song to go with those fun hand motions, but it was still really fun even with the slow song. Next we did timeline. First we did the abbreviated hand motions that I'll show you, and then at the end we got up and moved around and did some activities. So for Norman Conquest, we did Conquest. We've done this for a few weeks now, so as we build upon previous week's hand motions, I'm adding a little bit more in each week, just because the kids have already learned a lot of these. So Norman Conquest, and for feudalism, we showed the different levels of society with our hands. Feudalism. The Crusades, we took a cross over our heart and pushed it out. For Mali, we made an ASLM. You cover your thumb with 3 fingers. For Aztecs, we drew a pyramid, which looks like a triangle. For Francis, we did an F, ASLF. And for Thomas, we did an ASLT. For Shoguns, we unsheathed our swords, and you can point out that there's a sword on the Shogun that's on the timeline card. And then for Incas of South America, we did a mountain, which you can also see on the timeline card. And then we pretended to climb a mountain. To get some energy out after we did that a few times, we pushed our chairs in and we walked around the table while singing the song. The first time we walked around the table like samurais worked under shoguns in the military, so that's how it kind of connects to the timeline card. So first we got our swords out and we got in a samurai stance, which is like your legs like this, and we went around the table like this, slowly and steadily like samurai. And then the next thing we did was went around the table and pretended to climb like our Incas of South America timeline card. Next we did history. I showed this timeline card in the class so the kids could see Abe Lincoln's tall hat. This is timeline card 127, and in your foundations guide you'll see in the history section there's a little, in the corner, there's a little number 127, so you know which timeline card goes with the history sentence for that week. So we did hand motions and then we did a silly story at the end. First, the hand motions. For 1861, we did a 6 and then a 1. For Civil War, we did our sign for war. For Abraham Lincoln, we did an L with our fingers and put them on our head like Lincoln's top hat. And then for Southern States, we took our fingers and went down and pointed south. Southern States. For seceded, we put our thumbs over our shoulders one at a time because the music's a little bit slow at this part. We had done this hand motion previously for seceded. And then for Union, we made an ASLU and took it around in a circle like this. Then I went up on the board and erased keywords from the sentence. So I read this back over, but I filled these words in with silly words, and the kids had to correct me if I was wrong and tell me what the keyword was supposed to be. So instead of Civil War, I said Honda Civic War. Instead of Abraham Lincoln, I said Alfred Lingonberry. Instead of Southern States, I said China. Instead of seceded, I said statues. And instead of union, I said universe. For Latin, we added on to the Yankee Doodle song we've been doing the last 2 weeks. This week is the last week, so I'll sing you week 9 through week 11. Latin verbs have different endings called conjugations. Latin has no translation for articles a and the. Latin nouns and pronouns have different endings called declensions. These are the Latin rules. We sang through that a few times. I had the kids do planks while we were singing through, and then they were getting tired, so I had them lay down on the ground while we sang through that. Last we did math. I used this Cubes printable, which I will link in the description for you. We looked in detail at this cube here. We counted how many cubes were here, including the one you can't really see, but we can imagine it's back there. So there's 8, and we saw that 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. That's how we get the cube. You don't have to go into any of this detail in class. If the kids ask, you can say, talk to your mom about it when you get home. But in my class, they're a little more engaged if I do some background information. So that's why I went over that. So we sang through the song and pointed to the numbers. I forgot to do this in class, but my idea was to use square fingers and capture the number as we heard it in the song. So you can do that in your class. Then as we sang through the song, we mimed and pretended to be in a cube. And then we imagined the whole room was a cube, which wasn't hard because it pretty much is a cube. And we skipped around the table inside the cube while we sang the song. So that's all we did this week for memory work. We are taking next week off for Thanksgiving. I'll be back in 2 weeks to tell you what we did for week 12, and then we're taking a big break after that. I hope you have a great week 11, and I'll see you next time.